You grab your keys, you head for the door, and behind you, your dog does something that no roommate, no house guest, no friend would ever do. Something a little embarrassing, honestly, if you stop and think about it. They panic, quietly, just a little, every single time. For years, people told you what that meant. You're the pack leader, you're the alpha, or the gentler version, you're your dog's whole world. Here's the thing. One of those is a myth that trainers spent decades trying to undo, and the other is true, but so vague it doesn't actually tell you anything. The real answer is more specific, and, honestly, it's more moving. Your dog's brain doesn't file you as a leader. It doesn't file you as a buddy. It files you in almost the exact same slot a human baby files a parent. And there's a test for that. A test built back in 1969 for human infants. When researchers ran it on dogs, the dogs passed it like children. I'll get to that test at sign number 5. It's the one I keep coming back to, but it only really lands if you see the 4 signs leading up to it. So let's start with the one you already felt at the door. Sign 1. They fall apart when you leave, and only when you leave. It's easy to read that as your dog being clingy, needy, a little badly behaved, but watch closely. And it's not about being alone, it's about being away from you specifically. The mail carrier can come and go, a guest can leave, nothing. But you pick up the keys, and something shifts. In 1998, a team led by Topál, publishing in the Journal of Comparative Psychology, did something clever. They took the strange situation test, the gold standard experiment psychologists use to measure how a human baby is bonded to its parent, and they ran it on adult dogs. Same setup, a room, the owner, a stranger. A few separations and reunions. And the dogs behaved like toddlers. They explored the room when their owner was there. They got stressed when the owner left. They rushed to reconnect when the owner came back. The researchers pulled 3 threads out of the data: how much the dog cared about the separation, how anxious the strange place made them, and how they treated the stranger. The pattern was the signature of attachment. The same signature a 1-year-old shows for the person who raised them. So here's what to do with sign 1. Stop treating your departures like a big goodbye. The long, emotional, "I'll miss you so much" send-off doesn't reassure your dog, it tells them this moment is a big deal. Keep leaving boring. Boring is kind. Sign 2. You make them brave. You probably assume your dog explores the yard or takes on a new toy because they're just a confident dog, and maybe they are. But there's a hidden ingredient, and it's you. In 2021, Giulia Cimarelli and her team at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna published a study in PLOS One with 48 dogs. They gave each dog a puzzle, an object to manipulate to get a treat, and they watched how hard the dog worked at it. With the owner in the room, the dogs explored more. They pushed at the problem more. They were braver. And then they ran the control that makes this matter. They swapped the owner out and put a friendly stranger in the room instead. And the effect vanished. A stranger, right there, offering the same encouragement, nothing. In their words, strangers do not provide a secure base effect. It confirmed, quote, the owner's unique role in providing security to their dogs. That's called the secure base. And it is exactly what a toddler does, glancing back at a parent before wobbling off toward the new, scary thing. Your presence isn't just company. It's the thing that turns the volume down on fear. So use it. That's the practical here. When your dog faces something hard, the vet, a thunderstorm, a new place, you are a tool, not your voice going high and worried. Just your calm body, in the room, being boring and steady. You're the secure base. Act like it. Sign 3. Your nervous system and theirs are running on the same wire. We tend to think of our stress and our dog's stress as 2 separate weather systems. They're not. In 2019, Anne-Sophie Sunman and a team at Linköping University, publishing in Scientific Reports, measured long-term stress in 58 dogs and their owners. Not a one-time cortisol spike, the version baked into hair over months. And the dog's stress levels tracked their owner's stress levels. They synced. Even more striking was the direction. The dogs mirrored the humans, not the other way around. Your dog is reading your baseline and slowly matching it. Then, in 2024, a study out of Finland in Scientific Reports looked at heart rate variability, the fast, moment-to-moment signal of the nervous system in 30 dog and owner pairs. And it adapted between them. The 2 nervous systems tuned toward each other, and it was strongest when they were just resting together, doing nothing. That's co-regulation, and it is the same loop a parent and an infant run, where a calm adult basically lends their steadier nervous system to a smaller one that hasn't learned to run its own yet. Your dog is borrowing your calm, which means, on the 4th of July, on the drive to the vet, the most useful thing in the room is your own breathing. Regulate yourself first. You are their reference signal. Sign 4. The look. You think eye contact with your dog is just nice, sweet. It's more than that. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa's team published a study in Science with 30 dog and owner pairs. When a dog and their person held a soft, mutual gaze, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, rose in both of them, and it looped. Give the dog a little extra oxytocin, and they gazed at their owner more. That raised the owner's oxytocin, which fed back to the dog. A feedback loop running between two different species, through the eyes. Now, I want to be careful here, because you've probably seen wild percentage numbers attached to this study online, and the exact figures are genuinely disputed. So, forget the numbers. Hold on to the researchers' own conclusion instead. They wrote that this relationship shows, quote, neuroendocrine similarities to that described for mothers and infants. The exact bonding chemistry a mother and a newborn run through eye contact, your dog runs a version of it with you. And it goes deeper than a moment. A 2018 study by Kovacs and colleagues in Frontiers in Psychology found that the strength of the dog-owner attachment was linked to variations in the oxytocin receptor gene in both parties. Not just the dog's genes, the owner's too. The bond isn't only learned, part of it is written down on both sides. So here's the small practical. Soft eyes, slow blinks, that's bonding. A hard, fixed stare is not to a dog, especially from a stranger. A locked stare reads as a threat, so don't force it. Let it be the gentle thing it evolved to be. Which brings us back to that test. Sign 5. The whole thing was measured with a test built for babies, and your dog passed. Remember the strange situation from Sign 1? In 2003, a separate team led by Emanuela Prado-Previd, publishing in the journal Behavior, ran it again, independently, to check the result, and they landed in the same place. Their conclusion was that the dog-owner relationship can be, quote, regarded as functionally similar to that seen between a parent and child, not similar to a pack, not similar to a boss and an employee, a parent and a child. And that's where the old story finally falls apart. The pack leader idea, the alpha idea, it was borrowed from watching unrelated wolves crammed together in captivity, forced into a hierarchy that doesn't exist in the wild. It's been quietly walked back for years, even by the people who helped spread it. Because a real wolf pack, out in the world, isn't a gang ruled by the toughest wolf. It's a family, parents and their pups. So even the wolf story, the whole reason we ever called you leader, was a family story the entire time. So let me say it plainly and gently, because I know how it sounds. You've felt, for a long time, that you're more than an owner to your dog. You were right. You just had the wrong word for it. You're not the boss. You're not just company. You're the secure base, the one fixed point, a mind that evolved to need one, keeps checking for. And that's not sentiment. That's 4 decades of attachment research, run on your dog, coming back with the same answer, over and over. So here's what it changes, starting today. Keep your exits calm and boring. Use your presence, on purpose, when your dog is scared. And on the hard days, manage your own nervous system first, because they're downstream of it. 3 small things. All of them come from treating yourself as what the science says you already are. So next time you grab your keys, and you feel that little pull of guilt at the quiet panic behind you, don't read it as your dog being clingy. Read it for what 40 years of research says it actually is. A small creature, watching their attachment figure walk out of a room. That's not a flaw. It might be the most well-documented compliment in the animal kingdom. Your dog didn't choose you as a leader. Their brain built you into the exact shape it saves for a parent. So I want to know, what's the one thing your dog does the second you walk back in the door? Tell me in the comments. I actually read them. And if you want one of these every day, one study, one behavior, one small thing you never knew about the animal asleep in your house, that's what we do here at Pet Mind Labs. One paper, one day. Subscribe and stay a while. Because next time, we're answering the question hiding underneath this one. If you're their parent, do they think you're coming back? What your dog actually understands about time and about gone. That's the next one from Pet Mind Labs. I'll see you there.